Chapter 417. Plead for what? Plead for her to save her or for something else? Baya realized that her hands were trembling. Xiahi lowered her head and wrote down the secret on her hand. That operation didn't really exist. Baya didn't understand. What does that mean? It was a drill. The operation was fake but the death was real. Baya still didn't understand what that meant. She looked at Xiahi suspiciously. Tell Gu Lingqing that he can understand what I mean. So, since the operation was fake, where did the spy come from? Xiahi continued to write. Baya felt a chill down her spine. How did you know? I needed money so I accepted some missions. I went to Country S during the mission and got to know a prime minister. I sneaked into their database and found a scandal. The vice president of their country, who was the witness we needed to rescue, had a secret lover in Country X. When we went to carry out the mission, the lover was giving birth. This politician announced that he was coming to Country X, but in fact he went to Country X. He didn't come to Country A at all. If the person we needed to rescue didn't exist, then what was the purpose of the operation? Xiahi wrote on Baya's hand stroke by stroke. He wrote very slowly, afraid that Baya wouldn't understand. Baya looked at Xiahi in shock. She wasn't the person involved. She had only heard Gu Lingqing talk about the mission. Now that she thought about it, it was terrifying. She shivered. Xiahi continued to write, "This is a serious matter. This secret can't be known by others for the time being. I'm afraid it will cause an uproar and affect the relationship between our country and Country S." Baya came back to her senses and wrote on Xiahi's hand. "You were arrested as soon as you appeared at the airport because someone made an anonymous call and leaked the news. Did you contact anyone to expose your whereabouts?" This time it was Xiahi's turn to be surprised. She shook her head. "I've always been a loner. Even when I accepted a mission, I didn't tell them my real name. I was even surprised. I had clearly changed my passport. How did I get caught the moment I appeared?" "So, someone has been following you. They should know that you went to S country for a mission." Baya was worried. "They know that I went to S country to carry out a mission, but they won't know that I know this secret. I'm also alone when I do missions. I'm also worried that if they know that I know this secret, I won't be able to live at all. That's why I can't tell anyone. I only trust you. And Gu Lingqing. In addition." Xiahi's fingers paused for a moment, and a fierce look flashed across his eyes. He glanced at Baya and continued to write, "If I am found to be a spy in the military court and sentenced to death, I will tell this secret. After all, I don't want to die as a spy. I have shamed myself and I will never be able to wash myself clean in this lifetime. I hope that there will be a win-win situation. I also want to know what exactly happened on that mission. I don't want to be wronged for so many years without knowing the truth." "I understand," Baya said in a low voice. "Please," Xiahi said again. Baya nodded. She turned around and walked out of the room where Xiahi was locked up. Leng Ning walked in front of her and looked at her suspiciously. "You knew Xiahi before?" "We met by chance. Sorry to trouble you." Baya didn't want to say more. The current her was the same as Xiahi. There were very few people who trusted her. "Follow me." Leng Ning led the way in front and handed her over to the soldiers. After taking many detours, she saw Gu Lingqing's car. Gu Lingqing saw her too. He got out of the car and picked her up. Then he drove away immediately. Baya didn't say anything. She was afraid that she would affect his driving. After half an hour, their car was on the normal city road. Gu Lingqing didn't say anything either. He looked ahead deeply. After driving for another half an hour, they stopped in front of a manor. "Gu Lingqing, let's talk first." Baya stopped him. He unbuckled his seatbelt and turned around to face Baya. He said in a low voice, "Say it." "Xiahi said that the mission you took didn't exist at all." Gu Lingqing frowned. "What mission? What didn't exist?" "You brought your brothers to rescue the political leader. Those people were all dead. Only you, Xiahi, and Zhou Hailan were left. But, in fact, that political leader was in Country X at that time. He didn't come to Country A at all. So, the person you saved wasn't the vice president of Country S." Gu Lingqing looked at Baya in deep thought. His eyes darkened. "I know it's hard for you to accept it. After all, many of your brothers died in that mission. You can't just listen to Xiahi's one-sided story. I think you can investigate the truth. Also, Xiahi said that if she was sentenced to death, she would tell everyone. A week after I brought the political leader back, the vice president, who was a commissioner in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs at that time, personally thanked me on TV. That's because his lover was giving birth in Country X at that time. He used this incident to cover up his scandal. These were all insider information that Xiahi got by chance. Could it be that the person you saved looked exactly like the vice president? Baya was suspicious. When I saved him, his face was covered in blood. I couldn't see his face clearly. Plus, it was too urgent at that time, so I didn't see him clearly. Gu Lingqing recalled. Who did you hand him over to? Who asked you to carry out this mission? Gu Lingqing looked at Baya deeply. My direct superior at that time was Kai Qingyun, General Kai. But he's dead now. Maybe he was also following other people's orders? Who do you think could order him? There weren't many people in his position who could order him. The president, the two vice presidents, and the committee. Gu Lingqing pondered. If it was a fake mission, why did all my brothers die? Baya didn't say anything. She didn't know Gu Lingqing at that time, so she didn't know. If that mission was fake, that means there was no spy at all. Xiahi should have been wronged. However, if this matter is exposed, it may affect the relationship between Country A and Country S. Baya suggested. I'll first send someone to Country S to confirm the truth of this matter, then we'll make a long-term plan. Baya lowered her eyes. Hopefully they had enough time. They entered the private room together. Baya saw that there were 8 people in the private room, but she didn't know any of them. President Gu, please sit down. They deliberately left the main seat empty. Gu Lingqing sat down on the main seat. There was no seat next to him, so Baya found an empty seat and sat down. She had just sat down when she saw Su Jiran walking in with a glass of wine. Chapter 418. Hearing Su Jiran's tone, Baya subconsciously felt uncomfortable. She curled her lips and said, My presence here has nothing to do with you, Mr. Su, right? Su Jiran realized that he was in the wrong position. I'm just curious. Miss Wu doesn't seem like someone who likes to mingle in such places. You don't know me. How do you know that I don't like it? Baya retorted. The atmosphere between the two of them was filled with the feeling of mutual hostility. Mr. Su, do you know each other? Someone asked. Su Jiran shrugged and said, Sort of. He looked at Gu Lingqing and said, I heard that you're here, so I came to propose a toast. Mr. Gu, you must have a lot of troubles recently, right? What does it have to do with you? Gu Lingqing said coldly. Of course it has something to do with me. We've known each other for so long. I hope that you can live longer. Without your company, my life will be so boring. Su Jiran took the initiative to touch Gu Lingqing's wine glass. You're thinking too much. I'll definitely live longer than you. People who meddle in other people's business usually don't live long, Gu Lingqing said meaningfully. Su Jiran smiled with a hint of schadenfreude. He raised his head and downed the wine in his cup in one gulp. Then he glanced sideways at Wu Nian and said, You're with Gu Lingqing? Baya's heart trembled. She stared at Su Jiran and pursed her lips without saying a word. She's my assistant now. Gu Lingqing helped Baya out of the situation. Assistant? Su Jiran's face turned pale. He looked at Baya unhappily and said, When I invited you to be my assistant, you said that you only knew how to teach. What are you doing now? Miss Wu is really two-faced. She doesn't speak a word of truth. The moon waxes and wanes and people have their ups and downs. Everything in the world is impermanent. If you want to be specific, Mr. Su is not as charming as President Gu in my eyes. Are you satisfied with this reply? Baya retorted coldly. Su Jiran's expression became even worse. Then, he threw the wine glass into the bin and looked at Baya with a warning look. You will regret this decision very soon. Baya watched as Su Jiran walked out, and his expression darkened. How did the saying go again? It was better to offend a gentleman than a villain. Su Jiran was still a cultured villain wrapped in a gorgeous appearance. She was really afraid of Su Jiran. He was capable of anything. The socializing continued. The others didn't seem to be affected by Su Jiran's sudden appearance, but Baya was restless. Xiaoyan, help me get the lighter from the car, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. Baya was stunned. She didn't like Gu Lingqing smoking, but there were so many people here, so she couldn't disrespect him. She stood up and walked out. Before she reached the elevator, Gu Lingqing held her hand and pulled her to the balcony on the second floor. Don't worry about what Su Jiran said, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. Baya understood. He didn't ask her to get the lighter, but he called her out. He probably saw that she wasn't in a good mood, so he came to comfort her. In her heart she was very touched. After going through so much, I know him too well. It's impossible to say that I don't care. I'm thinking about what he said about regretting this decision soon. Does Su Jiran know something? Even if he knows something, it has nothing to do with me. Firstly, he won't tell me. Secondly, he will hit me when I'm down. Thirdly, Gu Lingqing paused. I didn't deal with him before because I wanted him to taste the pain of your death like I did. Since you're still alive, I'm not going to let him go. Baya was nervous. She held Gu Lingqing's hand. Don't make me regret my decision to be with you. I hope that you'll be safe. If you're safe, I can let go of all my hatred. Gu Lingqing held her hand back. After knowing the secret that Xiaohi told me, I realized that you're not dragging me down, but I'm dragging you down. Even without you, some things will still happen. So, no matter what happens, don't blame yourself. In my eyes, Su Jiran is insignificant and insignificant. Baya knew that Gu Lingqing was comforting her. She could tell which things he was dragging her down, and which things she was dragging him down. Anyway, we'll be fine in the future. Baya said in a deep voice. It'll be fine. Don't worry. I saw that you didn't eat anything before. Go back and eat something. I'll bring you home later. Gu Lingqing said softly. He held her hand and walked back. Baya subconsciously pulled her hand out. Gu Lingqing turned back to look at her. Gu Lingqing, I love you. I love you more than you think. We still have a lot of things to solve. It's better to have one less thing to do. You're not a superhuman, Baya said worriedly. Got it. Gu Lingqing did not make things difficult for her. She walked towards the private room first. Baya walked towards the direction of the washroom. She splashed water on her face. She looked up and saw Su Jiran in the mirror. She was shocked and her face turned pale instantly. Su Jiran crossed his arms and leaned against the door. He looked at her coldly. Does Alan know that you're Gu Lingqing's assistant? I don't need to report my work. Besides, Alan will come to a land on the 15th. I don't need to tell him. You will know. Baya forced herself to calm down. She deliberately told Su Jiran the date when Alan would come back to China to mislead Su Jiran. You're not majoring in finance, business, or secretarial. Don't you think it's strange that Gu Lingqing specially arranged for you to be his assistant? Su Jiran asked in return. Others have their reasons for arranging it. I have my reasons for accepting it. I only need to think about myself. Why should I think about others? Baya walked out. Su Jiran took a big step to the right and blocked her way. He looked down at her. I'm curious. What's your reason? Baya curled her lips. I want to know why you care so much about me. Don't tell me that you really love me. I think the reason why I care about you is the same as the reason why I care about Gu Lingqing. You really look like the woman we love together. Su Jiran examined Baya's face. Baya raised her chin and looked at Su Jiran. I'm done. Can you let me go now? Su Jiran did not let her go. Instead, he held her arm. Follow me. What do you want? No matter what you want, I can accept it. I don't lack money. I don't have any relatives. Even my only friend has left me. In other words, I don't have anything I want now. If I do. Baya paused. Mr. Su, you have power and good looks. Even Imo Shui likes you. You should not lack women. In the future, stay away from me. Chapter 419. Baya curled her lips. What if the woman you love comes back? Su Jiran paused and looked at Baya suspiciously. He let go of his hand and his eyes dimmed. Baya probably won't come back. I think Gu Lingqing thinks the same, so he asked you to be his assistant. Baya caught the strange look in his eyes. Su Jiran, do you want to make a deal? What kind of deal? Su Jiran's hope was ignited. What did you mean when you said that I'll regret it soon? Baya continued to ask. Su Jiran looked at her faintly. Gu Lingqing is doomed. If you follow him, of course you'll regret it soon. Gu Lingqing will not be able to escape. What does this mean? Wunyan, don't tell me that you're really worried about Gu Lingqing. Don't tell me you're interested in him. Su Jiran squinted his eyes in suspicion. If you're referring to Xiaohi, I think you're thinking too much. Gu Lingqing won't save Xiaohi. Baya made it clear. Su Jiran was slightly shocked. How do you know about Xiaohi? I know more than you think. For example, that mission is a fake mission, Baya said, scrutinizing Su Jiran. Su Jiran was even more shocked. How do you know? Who are you? I think I should be the one asking you, not the other way around. Who are you? Who are you working for? Wu Yin asked suspiciously. Su Jiran hugged Baya's waist. If you want to know who I'm working for, come to my side. I'll tell you everything. Let go, Baya ordered. So, you stayed by Gu Lingqing's side because of someone's order? Was it Xinyan's order? Su Jiran asked. Baya stared at Su Jiran. He was very smart. Even though he was stunned for a moment, he quickly regained his composure. He would not let her get information out of him easily. If she continued to be entangled with him and panicked, she would expose even more. The more you know, the sooner you die. Baya stepped on Su Jiran's foot forcefully. Su Jiran felt the pain and loosened his grip. Baya didn't even look at him and walked towards the private room. I advise you not to follow in Zhou Heilan's footsteps. You've seen what happened to her. She's basically abandoned, Su Jiran said from behind her. Baya stopped in her tracks. She really regretted not turning on the recording. Otherwise her words might have been useful. She glanced at Su Jiran. You'd better worry about yourself. Su Jiran smiled devilishly. Seems like you don't know much. Your level is very low. Baya turned her face away and walked towards the private room. Along the way she kept recalling the conversation she had with Su Jiran. Although he was cautious, she still heard some of it. She pushed open the door of the private room. Gu Lingqing was frowning. When he saw her, he relaxed and said in a low voice, "Does it take so long to get something?" "I didn't see a lighter in your car, so I looked for it for a while," Baya said and sat down. "President Gu, don't be angry. I have a lighter here." Director Wu took the opportunity to suck up to him. He took out a lighter and lit it up. Gu Lingqing lit a cigarette and looked at Baya. Baya met his gaze. He gestured to the dishes on the table. She lowered her head and ate. "This is Xiao Wu, right?" "Here's to you," a strange man said to Baya. Baya raised her glass. "She needs to drive for me." "She can't drink," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. "Oh yes. We abide by the law. We don't drink when we drive and we don't drive when we drink," Director Wu said quickly. She looked at Gu Lingqing and said with a smile, "President Gu, when are you free? I'll make arrangements for that location." "Thank you," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice and looked at Baya. Baya met his eyes again. She put down her glass, lowered her head and continued to eat. Gu Lingqing slightly raised the corners of his mouth, and his heart was filled with warmth. Half an hour later she couldn't eat any more. Gu Lingqing said to Director Wu, "I have a child at home. I'll go back first. Zhang will make arrangements for you. Have fun." "Thank you, President Gu," Director Wu said with a flattering smile. "You're welcome." He stood up. Baya stood up as well. He went out. Baya picked up her bag and followed him out. "Be smart next time. You're going out to eat with me, not to drink with me. Every time you say you're going to drive me away, understand?" Gu Lingqing said. "Oh, I forgot," Baya explained. Gu Lingqing pressed the button for the elevator. "Why did you take so long to return to the room? If you came back 1 minute later, I would have gone to look for you." "I bumped into Su Jiran in the washroom." Baya didn't hide it. Gu Lingqing's eyes turned cold. "Stay away from him if you see him next time. I talked to him for a while." Gu Lingqing turned around and looked at Baya warily. "Talk? What's there to talk about? You've suffered a lot from him, haven't you?" Baya saw that the elevator had arrived. "I'll talk to you when we get in the car." Gu Lingqing didn't say anything. He entered the elevator and looked at Baya. "You can talk now." Baya put on her seatbelt and looked at Gu Lingqing. "I found out a few things about him. First, when I said that the mission was fake, he said, 'How do you know? Who are you?' This means that Su Jiran knows that the mission was fake. I remember that Su Jiran is the president's man. This means that the president knows that the mission was fake. Second, he thought that I was ordered by Xianxia to stay by your side. He said that I shouldn't follow in Zhou Heilan's footsteps. This means that Zhou Heilan was ordered by someone to stay by your side. Xianxia is very cunning. Maybe he deliberately said something to confuse you," Gu Lingqing said cautiously. "I don't think so. Also, let's say that the president knew that the mission was fake. Could it be that the former president asked someone to catch Xiahi?" Baya guessed. "Impossible. If the mission was arranged by Xianxia's father, he would have killed Xiahi after knowing his whereabouts. He wouldn't have asked my people to catch him. So, the person who asked Leng Shuang to catch him can't be the one who planned the fake mission. Moreover, we still don't know which faction Su Jiran belongs to," Gu Lingqing said solemnly. "If Zhou Heilan was ordered by someone to stay by your side, she should know that it was a fake mission. Through her, we can find out who planned the fake mission. What's the purpose of the fake mission? The mission is fake but the death is real. What's the purpose of the death? Is it for you or for someone else?" Baya had many questions in his mind. Chapter 420. "You don't have to do anything about this. I'll handle it," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya felt a little uncomfortable. She knew that Gu Lingqing was worried that she would be in danger, so he didn't want her to participate. However, she wasn't afraid of danger or death. She was just afraid that something would happen to him. At the thought of something happening to him, her eyes turned red. "Gu Lingqing, if something happens to you, I won't live alone. Let's face it together. The difference is, If they want to deal with me with my skill and ability, I am not someone that an ordinary person can deal with. However, if they want to deal with you, you will be powerless and will be easily dealt with, Gu Lingqing said solemnly. Indeed, she didn't have any ability. She couldn't help him even if she wanted to. I really don't understand. Why do you like me? I don't have a good temper and I'm incompetent. I have a bad personality and I'm in a mess. Baya lowered her head and pulled her seatbelt to vent the faint displeasure in her heart. Gu Lingqing held her hand, and the corners of his mouth turned up slightly. You don't need a reason to like someone. Maybe it's just a moment of affection. I only know that you make me miss you, and I can't see any other woman in my eyes anymore. You also make my heart ache and it will make me jealous and crazy. Although I don't know the reason, I know that this is love. It was rare for Gu Lingqing to say sweet words. Most of the time he was a man of few words. But every time he said it, it made her feel incomparably sweet. Although I'm unarmed, I know that as long as you're here, nothing will happen to me. Didn't something happen to you on the deserted island? That's because you weren't there. So I can't protect you all the time. Gu Lingqing seemed to know what she was going to say and blocked her words. Baya twitched the corner of her mouth. I don't want to be a woman who causes trouble everywhere and only needs your protection. I want to fight side by side with you. There's a place for you to fight side by side. Do you know who Director Wu is? Gu Lingqing asked. Baya shook her head. How would I know? I'm not a businessman. He's the owner of Xianxia City's Land Planning Bureau. The person with him is the director of the investment promotion agency, Gu Lingqing explained. Xianxia City is surrounded by mountains. It's the poorest province in country A. Do they want you to develop your career there? Baya guessed. Yes, they want me to develop my career in Xianxia City, but my goal is the treasure. Isn't the treasure in the gold source? Baya was surprised. No, I looked for a lot of information, consulted experts, and combined it with the unfinished diary. I found the correct address. It's not in Jianghu but in Xianxia City. We have to do have to say, we have, Gu Ti to say, Ti to. Yeah, by, we. Shan, I'm. We have to do with it. Ti, Gu. By. We lan, to of it ya, do we, Ti. By. Even if you find the treasure, you don't know who the boss is. You will get yourself into more trouble. Gu Lingqing, you have enough trouble. Xiahi's problem is not solved yet. Baya disagreed. I can only negotiate with the boss after I get the treasure. To deal with the boss, we need to know who he is. Otherwise, we won't have any direction. I admit that you're right. I'm not asking you not to do this. I just feel that our priority now is to find out the truth behind your mission. We need to find out who the mastermind is. Then we can deal with the treasure. What do you think? Baya asked. She felt that Gu Lingqing wouldn't be able to handle so many things at the same time, even if he was a god. Gu Lingqing looked at Baya in silence. Baya didn't say a word. She just looked at her quietly. All right, I won't touch the treasure for the time being. It's too late. Let's go home first, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya knew that it wasn't easy to get Gu Lingqing to compromise. He was willing to compromise because he indulged her. She drove back. On the way she looked at Gu Lingqing. He closed his eyes and pretended to sleep. The lights from the street lamps flickered on his face, just like her mood at that moment. She had to think about it carefully and analyze all the accidents and possibilities. She couldn't take another wrong step. After an hour and a half, they arrived at the villa. Baya stopped the car. Gu Lingqing opened his eyes and looked at her. Xiaoya, you once told me that if you died, I would live well and take your place to complete your unfinished dream, right? Yes. She did say that. Gu Lingqing's reply at that time was to talk about it in the future. I promise you, but I also need you to promise me something, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. He was very serious. Baya had a bad feeling in her heart. Gu Lingqing continued, if I die one day, I hope that you can live well and take my place. We still have Xiaoyan. Xiaoyan needs you to take care of him. He will have children in the future. Xiaoyan's children also need you to take care of them. Do you understand? Baya's eyes turned red instantly. She couldn't hold back her tears and they rolled down her cheeks in big drops. Gu Lingqing was a very confident person. In the past, when he encountered problems, he would always say, trust me, I can solve it. This time he felt like he was leaving something behind. This meant that he also judged that he might not be able to solve it. Baya couldn't help but feel sad. I won't promise you. If you die, I will accompany you. We still have Xiaoyan, Gu Lingqing said. Xiaoyan has his adoptive parents, Baya said willfully. Her tears fell even more fiercely. Gu Lingqing reached out to wipe her tears. Baya pushed his hand away and turned her face away. She wiped her tears by herself, opened the door and got out of the car. Gu Lingqing had no choice but to get out of the car. Baya walked to the door. With her back facing Gu Lingqing, she said, "If you die, they will deal with your son. Do you think I have the ability to protect Xiaoyan? No, I don't. The only one who has the ability is you." Gu Lingqing walked behind her. He reached out and hugged Baya. He buried his head in her neck and took a deep breath. Baya felt that his body temperature was pouring into her body bit by bit. However, she still felt very cold. She turned around and faced Gu Lingqing. "Xiaoya, promise me, okay? If something happens to me, I will send you and your son out safely. No one will find you." Gu Lingqing looked at her solemnly. Chapter 421. When she lost her lover, it was as if the sky had lost all color and all she could see was black and white. Even though there were many people around, she still felt lonely. Even on a hot summer day, she would still feel cold. When she was eating, she would think of the details of their meals. He liked to eat braised pork with preserved vegetables. He would remove the fish bones and give the meat to her. When she was sleeping, she would think of him lying beside her. He would use his arm as a pillow for her. When she was walking, she would think of him beside her. He would let her walk inside and hold her hand when she was crossing the road. When she was watching television, she would think of him sitting beside her. He didn't watch soap operas, but he wouldn't fight with her over the TV. He would look at his phone. When she was cold, he would drape her clothes over her and hold her hand. When she was tired, he would let her lean on his body or carry her to the bed. Every time she thought of this, she would think of the fact that he would never appear again. Her heart ached as if it was being cut by a knife. She wished that she could die immediately. She hoped even more that there was a heaven in this world. She would be able to see him in heaven after she died. She couldn't live without Gu Lingqing. Hence, she would rather look at him from afar than be a burden to him. Gu Lingqing looked at her crying and his heart ached. He wiped her tears with his thumb. "Let's talk about this in the future. Anyway, we are still fine now." Baya didn't say anything. She lowered her eyes and was as calm as still water. Gu Lingqing opened the door and held her hand as they entered. She heard the dog barking. It was really pitiful to be their dog. They didn't have a proper meal. Baya took the dog food to feed the dog. She even changed the dog's water. Looking at the dog happily eating and drinking, she was in a daze. Most dogs were happy because they thought less and wanted less. They didn't experience too many setbacks and were easily satisfied. As long as they had food and water, they would feel happy. Humans weren't like that. They had feelings but were also burdened by them. The more they wanted, the more complicated their thoughts were, and the harder it was to find happiness. Gu Lingqing handed a bottle of milk to her. "Drink it. It will strengthen your body. Drink a bottle every day from now on." Baya took the bottle from Gu Lingqing's hand and stood up. Her eyes were still red and she drank all the milk in the bottle. "Come with me to work tomorrow. I'll ask the HR department to give you a labor contract." Gu Lingqing took the bottle from Baya's hand and walked to the kitchen to wash it. Baya looked at his back and narrowed his eyes, which shot out a ray of light. She would never allow him to die. She would carry the burden of what he had carried. She was dead, and he promised her to live on and take good care of Xiaoyan. If he died, she would not be able to live. When Gu Lingqing came out of the kitchen, Baya had already taken a shower in the bathroom. She was standing under the faucet with her eyes closed. She was immersed in her thoughts. When he heard the bathroom door open, he opened his eyes. Gu Lingqing walked in with a bathrobe. He took off his clothes and stood in front of Baya. She stood on tiptoe and kissed his chin. Gu Lingqing also held her waist. Their lips touched and an electric current flowed into their blood. Gu Lingqing hugged her and lay in the bathtub. As they kissed, the temperature increased. He held her calf and placed it on his waist. They looked at each other and saw deep love and misty pity in each other's eyes. Baya's heart ached. She took the initiative to close the distance between the two of them. Gu Lingqing lowered his head and kissed her eyes, the bridge of her nose, her lips, and her collarbone. The waves hit the bathtub, creating beautiful splashes and landing on the ground. Again and again life surged forth. She hugged him tightly. When he couldn't see, she shed tears. She lowered her head and bit Gu Lingqing's shoulder. She could really feel his existence. 15 minutes later, it gradually subsided. The bathroom was so quiet that they could hear the sound of breathing. Gu Lingqing gazed at her. Just like how she gazed at him, they looked at each other without saying a word. Gu Lingqing was the first to smile. He pinched her nose and stood up. Baya also stood up and hugged him from behind. "Gu Lingqing, I don't want to go to work tomorrow. I want to go to the temple. The temple? Gu Lingqing looked at her in surprise. When did you believe in this? From today onwards, I want to believe in it, Baya said meaningfully. Okay, I'll go with you tomorrow. He took the bathrobe and wrapped it around her. Be careful not to catch a cold. Baya wrapped the bathrobe around her and went out. She changed into her pajamas and lay on the bed. She looked at the time. It was almost 12 o'clock. She closed her eyes. Not long after, Gu Lingqing brushed his teeth and came in. He lay beside her and looked at her peaceful face. Baya waited for a while, but he did not turn off the lights. She opened her eyes and saw that he was looking at her. Aren't you going to sleep? It's very late. Gu Lingqing touched her nose. Your forehead, nose, and ears have not been fixed, right? Yeah, I fixed my eyes, patted my chin, changed the shape of my face, lips, and eyebrows. I used to have a tough life, Baya said. Gu Lingqing was amused by her. Why didn't I notice that I had a tough life? Baya also felt that what she said was quite funny. Go to sleep. Gu Lingqing nodded and turned off the lights. Baya turned over and faced her back to Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing also turned over and hugged her waist, pulling her to his side. Baya was dizzy. She was really a little sleepy and fell asleep after a while. She had a dream. She dreamt that Gu Lingqing said that he wanted to go to Inner Mongolia and forcefully pulled her onto a bus. There were not many people on the bus. The driver was playing with the picio in his hand and told her that he wanted 12,000 and asked her to take a look. She took a look. It looked weird and she did not know what material it was made of. They arrived at a certain city area. She saw a tall building not far away. It was as though there were electric waves and magnetic fields. In an instant it exploded. She shouted, Gu Lingqing, run! Gu Lingqing pulled her and ran. She hugged her head and saw many stones falling in front of her. She was afraid that they would hit her head. When she looked at Gu Lingqing was gone and she was alone. Her heart tightened. She found a roof with its back facing the exploded building and squatted on the ground. She looked at the stones and corpses in front of her in a panic. It was raining heavily. She was worried that something had happened to Gu Lingqing. She ran out from under the roof and looked for Gu Lingqing everywhere. She could not find him and met Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang said that Gu Lingqing was already dead. He was hit by a huge stone. She cried in her dream. Xiaoya, Xiaoya. Gu Lingqing pushed her. Baya opened her eyes and saw Gu Lingqing. She was glad that it was just a dream. However, she could not stop feeling sad. Chapter 422. Baya smiled awkwardly and wiped away her tears, but her eyes were still wet. She pretended to be calm and said, I had a nightmare, I'm sorry. You dreamed that I was dead. Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing in surprise. You kept shouting Gu Lingqing, don't die. Gu Lingqing explained. Baya sat up and thought of the dream. Her heart still ached a little. She brushed the hair in front of her forehead and squinted at Gu Lingqing. I dreamed that you were killed by a stone and I also dreamed of Lu Shuang. Dreams are all the opposite. It just proves that I won't die. It's still early. Do you want to sleep for a while? Gu Lingqing also sat up and looked at the time. It was only 5:45. Baya shook her head. I used to wake up at this time. I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to cook breakfast and run in the morning. That's a good habit. I'll keep you company. Gu Lingqing also got up. Baya brushed her teeth and washed her face first. She put the rice in the rice cooker to cook porridge and went out for a run. Gu Lingqing quickly caught up. The two of them looked at each other and smiled. Is it a race? Baya asked. Gu Lingqing chuckled. You're brave enough to challenge me. No one in the army can run faster than me. Baya ran backward and looked at him. Mr. Gu, run backward. I'll run along. We'll go around the park and the finishing point will be the starting point. Gu Lingqing smiled and agreed readily. Okay. Baya sprinted forward and Gu Lingqing followed beside her. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing. She didn't expect him to run so fast even though he was running backward. It seemed that he was waiting for her on purpose. She sped up and Gu Lingqing still followed beside her. She ran for 100 meters and couldn't run anymore. She gradually slowed down. Gu Lingqing played along. He also slowed down and stayed by her side. Her heart was filled with warmth as she looked at him with a smile. It's easier to conserve energy by running at a constant speed. You should sprint at the end, Gu Lingqing suggested. I admit defeat, okay? Ignorance is bliss. Come and run, let's run together, Baya said with a smile. Gu Lingqing turned around. He originally wanted Baya to win, but she should have seen that he deliberately let her win. Between lovers there was no need to care about winning or losing. Her smile was his greatest trophy. The two of them ran 10 laps around the park before Baya stopped to rest. Panting slightly, she wiped the sweat off her body and turned to look at Gu Lingqing. He stood under the tree and looked at her deeply, the corners of his mouth slightly raised. I know an ancient temple that has more than 300 years of history. I heard that it's very accurate. I want to go there, but it's a little far. Will it affect your work? Baya said worriedly. No, I'll get someone to drive the limousine over. When you're in the limousine you can still rest for a while. I can also work so it won't affect me. Baya nodded. Sounds good. Let's go and have breakfast first. I've cooked porridge. Scramble a tomato and egg later. In the car Baya lied on the bed and pretended to take a nap. Gu Lingqing was focused on the computer. Slowly Baya opened her eyes and looked at Gu Lingqing. The sunlight outside the window fell on him, casting his shadow on the blanket. Even his shadow was so tall and straight. Time was quiet. She slightly raised the corners of her mouth and her eyes were gentle. Gu Lingqing seemed to feel her gaze and looked at her. Their eyes met. Did I wake you up? Gu Lingqing closed the computer. Baya shook her head. No, just looking at you makes me feel very satisfied. Gu Lingqing slightly raised the corners of her mouth. She laid down beside Baya and put her hand on her waist naturally. That sounds nice. What were you doing when I asked you to be with me? Actually, I've always been there. I've never left. I was there before, I'm here now. No matter what happens in the future, I'll still be there. After knowing you, I can't find anyone better than you, Baya confessed. Gu Lingqing's smile deepened. Since when did you become so sweet? This isn't like you. It wasn't like her, but she was worried that if she didn't say it now, she wouldn't have the chance to say it in the future. I've always been very unlucky. But you're the luckiest thing in my misfortune. You're also the only bright color in my life. I feel that God is still treating me well after knowing you, Baya said with a smile. Gu Lingqing looked at her with a burning gaze. I've always been fighting against my fate. Thank you for appearing and making my life different. Baya slightly furrowed her brows. It doesn't sound good. Gu Lingqing laughed out loud. That's why it's destined. Don't ask me why I like you anymore. Baya shrugged. Then I'll rest for a while. You're busy? She turned her body and turned her back to Gu Lingqing. There was a flash of determination in her eyes. Now, other than Su Jiran, there was also Zhou Hailan. Ever since they knew each other, Gu Lingqing had always been the one protecting her. Now it was her turn to protect him. Before they knew it, they had already arrived at the ancient temple. There were many people in the ancient temple. There were many people lining up to see the master. Baya was the last one in line. Gu Lingqing stood beside her. What's going on? There's an ancient master here. He only tells 3 people every day. Those who are told by him are very accurate. They can also turn misfortune into blessing, Baya explained. There are about 40 to 50 people here. You'll have to line up for half a month. I'll call someone to line up later. We'll come again when it's our turn, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya pursed her lips and smiled. Before she could say anything, an auntie standing in front of them said, Young man, I can tell that you don't understand. The ancient master only tells 3 people every day, but not everyone. It depends on fate. We're just trying our luck. So, even if it's our turn, he might not tell us. Gu Lingqing asked Baya. Baya nodded. If he doesn't tell us, it's not too late to burn incense and pray for blessings. Gu Lingqing did not say anything. He did not believe in this, but as long as Baya believed in it, he would accompany her. Even if he did not say anything, he felt that it was meaningful to be by her side. The line in front was moving very fast. It should be the ancient master who did not tell anyone. Soon it was Baya's turn. Baya went in first. Gu Lingqing followed. He was stopped by a young novice monk. Almsgiver, the ancient master only tells 1 person at a time. Even if you're together, you can only tell 1 person at a time. Baya looked back at Gu Lingqing and smiled. I'll be done in a while. Gu Lingqing nodded. He watched Baya walk in and stood aside patiently. Baya walked in. First, she passed a vestibule. She lifted the black curtain and smelled the fragrance of wormwood. Sitting in front of her was a very young man. Chapter 423. He looked at her and smiled. You've changed your appearance and been reborn, but you still can't change your fate. Miss, please take a seat. Baya was slightly stunned. She actually knew that every famous quack was an expert in micro-expressions. They could judge from a person's expression, and they could also listen to useful information from the other party's words. However, to be able to accurately say that she had changed her appearance and was reborn, she was still very surprised. She sat in front of the Master Gufa. The Master Gufa handed her a brush. Write down a word and tell me what do you want to test? Baya took the brush from the master Gufa and wrote down a word on the rice paper. She put down the brush and said in a deep voice, I want to know how to change bad luck and let myself and my lover be safe. The master Gufa looked at the word written by Baya. Man can conquer nature. Miss, you actually have your own idea. You study psychology, so you should be able to control other people's hearts. If you can control other people's hearts, what can't you do? Baya looked at the master Gufa in surprise. She had changed her appearance and looked different from the previous Baya. The previous Baya had appeared in various major news magazines, so it was normal for him to know that she studied psychology. However, when she appeared as Xuanhuan, he could be so sure that he didn't need to test her. Indeed, she was shocked. You mean if I do what I want, I can let my lover and I be safe? Baya continued to ask. The master Gufa smiled. You killed too many people in your previous life, which made you who you are. You stepped on many corpses to stand under the sun, so in this life, you will experience many setbacks. However, it doesn't matter. You are originally a person above others, and it is inevitable that you will be stained with blood. The important thing is don't leave a trace. If you don't do it cleanly, you will disappear from this world. Baya's heart skipped a beat. What do you mean by it is inevitable that I will be stained with blood? What do you mean by unclean? I will disappear from this world. What are you hinting at? Speak clearly, speak clearly. There are many things that need to be experienced by benefactor. That's all I know. Grandmaster Gufa's expression did not change. Baya stood up and glared at him sternly. I know that fortune-tellers like you like to say ambiguous things and let others deceive you. In fact, you're just using your language skills. It doesn't count. Grandmaster Gufa smiled. If benefactor doesn't believe me, why come to my place? But you didn't tell me what I wanted to know. I only know how to predict fate. I'm not a deity who can predict the past and the future, and I don't have the ability to change everything. What you want to know, I've already told you the direction based on fate. As for the specifics, it all depends on how you go. How? You're right. I need to leave no trace in order to be safe and sound. But how can I leave no trace? Master Gufa is nothing but a fraud. Baya spoke harshly and turned around. Benefactor, please wait. Grandmaster Gufa stood up. Baya cast a sidelong glance at him. He smiled. You're an expert in psychology. As expected, you live up to your reputation. I'm impressed. Baya frowned. He asked suspiciously, You know me? I'm just guessing based on fate. I don't know you, benefactor. Grandmaster Gufa said gently. Baya pulled the chair back and sat down again. Now, I really want to hear what you mean by fate. Grandmaster Gufa also sat down and pointed at the word fate on the paper. All in all, benefactor relies on mouth for a living. When you came in, you looked at me as if you had seen through it. Because you felt that I was judging based on micro-expressions, and micro-expressions are your forte. The word next to the mouth is jia. It refers to the proof of someone with status. In other words, you're in this industry. You've received great honors. However, mouths also represent people. You are stepping on people with status, and these people with status have been buried in the yellow earth. If you leave a mark, then there will be a little bit of life on the word, but this word doesn't have it. Grandmaster Gufa explained. You judged it from the words I wrote? Baya was suspicious. Grandmaster Gufa smiled but didn't say anything. What if I rewrite a word now? Baya picked up the pen. Life can't be repeated. It's useless no matter how many words you write, Grandmaster Gufa said casually. Baya paused and put down the pen. She slowly stood up and looked at Grandmaster Gufa before turning around. Benefactor, remember to leave from the back door. Grandmaster Gufa reminded. Why? Baya didn't understand. Your husband doesn't believe in such things. If you leave from the front door, why would he be willing to come in? Grandmaster Gufa said confidently. This person's predictions were too accurate. It made Baya suspect that there were surveillance cameras here. Otherwise, how could his predictions be so accurate? She walked out with her head down. In her mind, she kept recalling what Grandmaster Gufa said. You're a person above others, so it's inevitable that you'll be stained with blood. The most important thing is not to leave any traces. If you don't do it cleanly, you'll disappear from this world. Stained with blood? Disappear from this world? She sat on the wooden chair under the ginkgo tree at the back door and stared blankly at the incense burner. The smoke curled up and slowly rose into the sky. After an unknown period of time, Gu Lingqing came out from inside. She saw that Gu Lingqing didn't look too good. She stood up nervously and walked to Gu Lingqing. She held Gu Lingqing's arm. Gu Lingqing looked at her pitifully and didn't say anything. What did he say to you? Baya asked worriedly. I don't believe anything a charlatan says, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. What he meant was that what Grandmaster Gufa said to him was something he didn't want to hear. That was why he was depressed. Baiya saw through it but didn't say anything. She asked, "What did you write?" Baiya's bai, Gu Lingqing said faintly and held Baiya's hand. "Let's go and burn some incense." Okay. She didn't ask any further. She bought some incense and paid for it with Gu Lingqing. She prayed devoutly and burned the incense. She looked at Gu Lingqing. He lowered his head and closed his eyes. He seemed to be chanting something. There was some sadness shrouding him. He was more devout than her. She remembered that he didn't believe in these things. She felt a little bitter in her heart. That proved that what Grandmaster Gufa said to him was not good. Not good at all. So, he was actually afraid. Such a tough man actually had times when he was afraid. Her heart was very soft. She held Gu Lingqing's cold hand and smiled. She would do everything to protect him. Even if her hands were stained with blood, she wouldn't care. When she was an angel, she saved the dying, helped the injured, and delivered babies. God had never been kind to her. Chapter 424. They had dinner at the temple. When they got home, it was already 16 p.m. Baiya was cooking in the kitchen while Gu Lingqing was working in the study. After she finished cooking, she took a look at the study upstairs and went out with her phone and trash. She threw the trash bag away and walked to the big pagoda tree to make a call. "Alan, I want to find some mercenaries. Can you help me contact them?" Baiya asked directly. "Yes, of course. What kind of mercenaries do you want?" Alan said softly. He did not ask what she wanted the mercenaries for. He would give them to her if she wanted them. "The best. I want 5 of them. Ask them to call me when you find them. I will transfer the cost to their card when the time comes," Baiya said in a deep voice. "Okay. How are you?" Alan asked with concern. "Well, I'm fine. How about you?" Baiya asked casually. "Heh." Alan chuckled. "I don't think I'm doing well." "What's wrong?" Baiya asked with concern. "I don't have a fiancé now and my family is pressuring me. I feel pressured at home. So, I might come to your place in advance. Is that okay?" Alan sighed. "Of course. Let me know when you are coming. I will pick you up at the airport," Baiya said sincerely. Alan had helped her a lot. He never asked for anything in return and never forced her. She just hoped that Alan would be well. "Then we will contact each other when you are here. I will hang up first. My grandmother is calling me. So, I don't think anything good will happen. Fortunately, she is not my girlfriend. Otherwise, I will be annoyed to death," Alan joked. Baiya thought of Alan's grandmother. She smiled. "When you are with her, you find her annoying. When you are not with her, you start to miss her. People are like this. You should cherish them." "Well, that makes sense." "I will hang up now," Alan said politely. "Okay." After Alan hung up, Baiya kept her phone and walked into the house. Gu Lingqing was looking for her. "Where did you go?" "I was just about to call you out for dinner," said Baiya with a smile. He washed his hands and scooped the rice without batting an eyelid. Gu Lingqing came over to take the bowl. "Let's go to the movies tonight? There's a good movie recently." "Sure," Baiya agreed readily. He pulled out his chair and sat down to eat. He looked at Gu Lingqing. He didn't make a sound as he ate. He had cultivated himself for a long time. Even when he ate, he hated to look good. "What's wrong?" Gu Lingqing asked. "If we have a daughter, the daughter will look like you and she will also be very beautiful," Baiya said with a smile. Gu Lingqing smiled. "Then I'll work hard." Baiya's face was slightly red as she picked up a piece of pork for him. He lowered his head to eat. This feeling of eating was very blissful. After dinner, she went to wash the dishes. Gu Lingqing followed her into the kitchen to help her. "I can do it alone," said Baiya. "I like to be with you," said Gu Lingqing in a deep voice. "Gu Lingqing," Baiya called out. "Yeah." She looked at him. "I'm still worried when I think about working at your company. Can you give me another week?" "I said I'm asking you to work at my company, but it's actually just a casual job. The main thing is that you can have an identity in the company. You don't have to worry. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to do it," comforted Gu Lingqing. "I want to take my job seriously, Gu Lingqing. You'll spoil me too much." Gu Lingqing smiled. He looked at her with a smile in his eyes. "I'm just afraid that I'm not good enough to you and let you run away again." "I won't run away anymore. I'll be wherever you are. Even if I die, I'm still Gu Lingqing's ghost. I'll still be there wherever you are," said Baiya with a smile. "That's good. All right then, I'll wash the dishes from now on." Baiya pursed her lips and smiled. She didn't reply to him and washed the dishes together. After they were done, they went out to watch a movie. Gu Lingqing drove. She booked a seat and went to watch the movie at 8:50 p.m. It was still early when they reached the cinema. Gu Lingqing went to buy some food while Baiya waited in the lounge. What a coincidence. We can bump into each other while watching a movie. Do you think this is fate? Su Jiran's voice was heard. Baiya turned her head. Su Jiran was standing behind her with a box of popcorn. Beside him was Tian Tian. She didn't expect Su Jiran to adopt Tian Tian. Indeed, it's not an ordinary fate. We can see each other every day. Is this a coincidence or on purpose? Baiya's lips twitched as she asked. Do you think I'm following you? Su Jiran smiled evilly. I believe that Mr. Su doesn't have a hobby of masochism, Baiya replied bluntly. I've been thinking, who are you? Who do you work for? How do you know so many things? Su Jiran asked suspiciously. No matter how much I know, I can't compare to even 1/10,000th of what Mr. Su knows. However, I think I happen to know one thing that Mr. Su wants to know the most, Baiya said with certainty. What do I want to know the most? Su Jiran continued to ask. Baiya's lips twitched. She didn't say a word and walked out. Su Jiran grabbed Baiya's arm. Just as his hand touched Baiya, it was grabbed by a stronger force. Gu Lingqing shook off Su Jiran's hand and said coldly, Stay away from her. Su Jiran looked at Gu Lingqing suspiciously and looked at the calm Baiya. He said in disdain, Gu Lingqing's love for women is nothing more than this. I wonder if Baiya is still alive. Gu Lingqing didn't want to bother with him. He held Baiya's hand and walked into the cinema. With a cold face, he walked to the back seat in the middle and sat down. He placed the plastic bag in his hand into Baiya's hand and looked at the screen with a gloomy expression. Baiya saw that he was unhappy. She ate a popcorn and said with a flattering smile, It's delicious. Do you want it? Gu Lingqing looked at Baiya with a pale face. Did you ignore what I told you before? I told you to stay away from Su Jiran in the future. What if I wasn't here just now? I was already walking away. He was the one who held my hand. Gu Lingqing frowned. Do you think that I don't know anything? Since I know that you are Baiya, I will definitely send someone to protect you. I know your every move. Baiya's face turned red. Including every word she said? Or did he only know what she had done? If I leave when I see him, it will make him suspicious. Baiya explained, I have to pretend to be very different from Baiya. Gu Lingqing held her hand. The more you say, the more mistakes you will make. The best way to hide is to keep him away from you. Baiya nodded. She knew that what Gu Lingqing said was right. However, her current purpose was not to make Su Jiran unable to recognize her. Instead, she wanted to know who was behind Gu Lingqing through Su Jiran. Chapter 425. The movie was very good. It was a hot-blooded patriotic action movie, mainly about the male lead thinking that his fiancée had died, so he went to Africa and gave up. In the end, there was a war and he stood up for the country in his own name, saving the people who were trapped. There was a scene in the middle that made Baiya's heart ache. The male lead was infected with a virus, and when he was unconscious, he dreamed of his fiancée. He held the bullet that went through his fiancée tightly, crying, You didn't come back. When she saw this scene, she cried. Tears blurred her eyes and everything she saw was hazy. Tears kept flowing and it was very sad. After she left, Gu Lingqing was even more depressed than him. She drank, smoked, and was hospitalized. If she didn't come back in the future, she didn't dare to think about it. She leaned on Gu Lingqing's shoulder. The future was too far and she couldn't think about it, nor could she control it. All she could do was cherish the present. After watching it, Baiya felt like it was not enough. It's really good, I really want to watch it again. Then let's come back tomorrow. These kinds of films that promote patriotism should be filmed more, Gu Lingqing said dotingly. Are you hungry? Baiya asked, taking the initiative to hug Gu Lingqing's arm. Let's go for supper. What do you want to eat? Let's go to the buffet. There should be a place that specially serves supper. I'll check on the internet. She opened the mobile data on her phone, went on the app, entered the supper, buffet, and intelligently selected nearest. There really were a lot of places. I know where it is, follow me. Baiya pulled Gu Lingqing's hand and walked. Gu Lingqing smiled and followed beside her. It was almost 11 p.m. Other than those who were watching the movie, there were occasionally cars passing by, but it was empty and very quiet. The light from the street lamp fell on the two of them, leaving a pair of shadows on the ground. They walked for 10 minutes and no one spoke, but they didn't feel lonely or bored. When they passed by the bridge, a gust of wind blew over. Baiya looked at the lake. I remember our life on the island. Me too, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya smiled. That crab is really delicious. Bamboo shoot stewed with wild boar is also delicious, Gu Lingqing continued Baya's words. If you like, we can stay there for 2 days this weekend. Sure. She picked up her phone and glanced at the map. It was nearby. She stretched her neck and looked forward. She saw it. There. Yes. As they walked towards the Big Sheep restaurant, Baya's phone rang. Seeing that it was an unfamiliar foreign number, she guessed that it was a mercenary hired by Alan to answer the call. Hello, we are Silver Flame. Someone said that you need us, the other party said in English. Yes. Give me your email address. I will email you the details later. Baya said simply and then hung up the phone. Who is it? Gu Lingqing was suspicious. Baya took a deep breath and looked at Gu Lingqing. Her eyes were watery and she explained calmly, Lu Shuang is missing. I asked someone to look for her. It might be a good thing that she disappeared. No news is good news. Usually if you find her, others will find her too, Gu Lingqing reminded. I'm afraid that I won't even know what happened to her. Let's not talk about this anymore. Let's eat first. Baya didn't want to say more, afraid that Gu Lingqing would see through her. She pulled him into the restaurant and brought out a lot of food, filling up the table. Can you eat so much? Gu Lingqing was doubtful. Baya put the lamb roll into the hot pot. I still have you, right? Gu Lingqing smiled lovingly and answered softly, yes. Halfway through her meal, Baya looked around. She used to not eat at this late hour. When she was hungry, she would stay hungry for the whole night. Then she got used to it. She didn't expect that there would be so many people coming out for supper in the middle of the night. What's wrong? Gu Lingqing asked. Food is the sky. How vast is the sky here? Baya said jokingly. Gu Lingqing chuckled. As long as you want, I can make our sky more vast than theirs. I can make you fat so that there won't be so many people thinking about you. You mean that when I was fat, no one thought about me? Are you judging people by their appearance? Baya narrowed her eyes. If I judged people by their appearance, I wouldn't have forced myself on you at that time. Baya blushed. So you know that you used force. Gu Lingqing looked embarrassed. She cleared her throat and promised, I will treat you well. Yes, Baya replied. She believed him. After the meal they were too full. They walked back to the cinema together. The car was parked there. There were fewer people on the road. The weather in October was very cold at night, especially after coming out from the warm hot pot restaurant. Gu Lingqing took off his coat and wrapped it around her. Baya looked at him. He was only wearing a suit, but it didn't reduce his handsomeness at all. It added a layer of warmth to him. Gu Lingqing, it's an hour-and-a-half drive back. It's too far. You still have to work tomorrow. Let's stay in a hotel today. Baya suggested. Yes, he said indulgently. Stay near here. Baya waved her phone. Let me look for it. She searched for a hotel nearby on her app. There's one near the cinema. Let's go there now. Okay. Gu Lingqing put his arm around her waist and pulled her to his side. The two of them went there together. In the morning when she woke up, Gu Lingqing hadn't woken up yet. He was also tired last night. After all, he was the one who did all the work. She tiptoed to the bathroom, turned on her phone, logged into her email and saw the email sent by the mercenary. Your friend has already paid the advance. Don't worry, we've never failed before. We'll arrive in country A at 1936 country time tomorrow. What do you need us to do? Baya replied the email. After replying, she brushed her teeth, washed her face and left the bathroom. Gu Lingqing woke up. He got off the bed and kissed her on the forehead. Wait for me, I'll accompany you for your morning jog. It's okay if you don't go for a morning jog today. You can rest for a while more. Baya felt sorry for him. Then let's have breakfast together, Gu Lingqing said gently. Baya nodded. He went into the bathroom. She walked to the window and looked downstairs. Gu Lingqing said that he had sent someone to protect her in secret. It should be someone from the shadows. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to find out. If she wanted to act alone, she would have to ask someone from the shadows to follow her. What are you thinking about? Gu Lingqing put his arm around her waist from behind. Are the people from the shadows outside? Baya asked directly. Yes, they've always been here. Don't worry. Gu Lingqing didn't deny it. Where are they? In the car? Or on the road? Baya was suspicious. Chapter 426. Baya's heart skipped a beat. What he meant was that no matter where she was or what she was doing, he would have a rough idea. It was impossible for her to hide anything from him. No wonder, she always felt that Gu Lingqing knew a lot. Gu Lingqing looked down at her and continued, I bought this third eye for you. I don't believe that you're dead, so I thought that as long as you appeared somewhere in country A, I would be able to find you immediately. However, I don't have money, so I could only take over the family business. Baya lowered her eyes. Her heart felt sour and warm at the same time. She felt warm because Gu Lingqing had done everything for her. She felt sour because she was useless and couldn't protect him. She reached out and hugged Gu Lingqing. She took a few deep breaths and imprinted Gu Lingqing's smell in her mind forever. Gu Lingqing smiled slightly and hugged her shoulders. Are you hungry? It's weird. I ate so much last night, but now I feel even hungrier than usual, Baya said with a smile. Eat more. You'll gain some weight. He hugged her and walked. Okay, Baya replied. They went to the restaurant together. Breakfast was buffet. Our dog seems to be really pitiful. We have a feast here, but it doesn't even have breakfast, Baya said apologetically. I'll send a part-time worker over today to clean up, take care of Xiao Bai, buy groceries and so on. You don't have to work so hard. It won't affect our daily life, Gu Lingqing suggested. You always think more thoroughly than me. Baya poured some milk into a cup while Gu Lingqing stood beside her. Gu Lingqing, what are you going to do next? After all, Xiaohi's case will be heard at any time, Baya asked tentatively. Gu Lingqing also poured some milk. I have already sent people to S country. First of all, we have to confirm the authenticity of this matter and get the evidence. Otherwise, once Xiaohi goes to court, even if she says it, no one will believe it. She will also put herself in danger. Since she is not a spy, you must ensure her safety. But even if we go to S country to investigate, we won't be able to find out who the mastermind is, right? What are you going to do about this? Baya was worried. They are very cautious in their work and they don't reveal anything. Even if I suspect them, I can't find any clues. I can only wait for an opportunity, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. She did not like the word waiting because before the opportunity came, he was too dangerous. However, she didn't say anything. Besides, she wouldn't get any results just by pressuring Gu Lingqing. I think the fried noodles here are pretty good. I'll go get some. Baya changed the topic. She took a plate of fried noodles, soup dumplings and some vegetables and found an empty seat to sit down. Gu Lingqing took 2 plates, one with chicken salad and the other with sandwiches. This chicken salad is pretty good. He placed the plate in front of him. Later you go to work and I'll go home. When I come back tonight I'll cook for you, Baya said with a smile. Okay. Gu Lingqing took a bite of the sandwich. Baya looked at him, thought for a while and said tentatively, Gu Lingqing, other than you, who else in country A has the Eye of Heaven? I'm not sure about that, but it's expensive and the source is unknown. Most people won't buy it, Gu Lingqing explained. Do you think Su Jiran has it? I always feel that if it's a coincidence that we keep bumping into each other, it's too much of a coincidence, Baya guessed. Gu Lingqing paused for a while. He might really have it. After all, he has hundreds of millions of yuan. Moreover, he's been looking for you. I'll have to investigate whether he has it or not. If that's the case, he should know our address, right? Baya was worried. That's not possible. First, there won't be Eye of Heaven in places without surveillance. Second, I'm a VIP user of Eye of Heaven. I can block certain sections of the road. He won't be able to find where we live. Unless he's following us. However, there are people from the shadow around me. If he's following us, I'll know. He also knows that I'll know. There's no need for him to waste time like this, Gu Lingqing explained. The shadow used to belong to the special forces, right? Can you still transfer them now? Baya was doubtful. They used to belong to me. After I left, other than Leng Shuang, who was arranged to be the chief of the special forces, the rest followed me out. I can still afford to take care of them, Gu Lingqing explained. Baya understood now. No wonder she felt that Xinyan was still afraid of him. Thinking of Xinyan, she thought of Lu Shuang. She wondered how Lu Shuang was doing now. She lowered her head and continued eating. I'll get someone to send you back later, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya nodded. After dinner, she followed Gu Lingqing to the company. Zhang Xingyu came over to send her back. He smiled and said, You're already together with President Gu. Aha, I knew it. President Gu treats you differently. Baya did not deny it. Since Gu Lingqing asked Zhang Xingyu to send her back, he must be someone that Gu Lingqing trusted. She looked at the surveillance cameras. There were no surveillance cameras after they entered Yongning Road. However, without surveillance cameras, she still had to ask an Ing who was following her. Zhang Xingyu, do you know the Ing who is protecting me? Baya asked directly. Yes, we used to be in the same group, Zhang Xingyu said straightforwardly. Baya smiled. So, Zhang Xingyu used to be an Ing too. Is he following us now? Baya continued to ask. Not now because I'm here, Zhang Xingyu explained. Then how do we do the handover? What I mean is, are you sure he can protect me? That won't be a problem. We have the best chemistry. What kind of chemistry? Baya asked doubtfully. Zhang Xingyu saw that Baya was worried, so he said patiently, we have the third eye. There will be 4 people in the surveillance room. There will be one more person. Yesterday there were 2 people. They were in the hotel yesterday and followed us to the company. When I arrived they could go back and rest because they were on the night shift last night. After I came and sent you home, there were 3 dark shadows people at your house to protect your safety at all times. 3? What if there are a few hundred of them? A few hundred? It's such a big commotion. We've already monitored them when they first set off. There are quite a lot of Ing. Don't worry, President Gu will definitely protect you, Zhang Xingyu said confidently. Then what if I ask you to let me go now? Will there still be people protecting me? They will be here in 10 minutes. During this time I will protect you, Zhang Xingyu said with a smile. Chapter 427. Stop the car at the entrance of the wet market. I'm going to buy some groceries, Baya said. Alright, I didn't expect you to cook. No wonder President Gu likes you so much. Zhang Xingyu smiled. Baya looked at him. Did you get to where you are now by flattering others? Haha, something like that. Zhang Xingyu was not angry. He smiled and said. Baya smiled and felt apologetic. She should not have vented her anger on an innocent person. Zhang Xingyu stopped the car at the parking lot near the wet market and accompanied Baya to buy groceries. She bought a caddy of silver thread noodles, 2 caddies of chicken wings, a caddy of shrimps, cucumbers, cabbage and chicken broccoli. When she passed by a fishing gear store, she bought a fishing rod and 2 black goldfish. You made so many delicious dishes today. Zhang Xingyu helped Baya carry the groceries. Yes, do you want to stay for dinner tonight? Baya asked gently. Zhang Xingyu blushed. No thanks. President Gu must have other things for me to do. I won't disturb the 2 of you. Then I'll treat you to dinner another day. By you, Baya was referring to the people in the dark shadows. It would be easier to discover their secrets if she knew their faces. Okay. Zhang Xingyu replied happily. He sent her back to the villa. Baya put the groceries in the kitchen, fed the dog with dog food and let the dog out to play. The dog was very happy that it was not in the cage. It ran around Baya. Baya went back to the kitchen. After cleaning the prawns, she cooked them in water. While cooking the prawns, she divided the noodles into 5 small packets and put them in the refrigerator. Then she marinated the chicken wings. As soon as the water boiled, she scooped up the prawns and splashed them with cold water. She quickly let the prawns cool and drained the water. Then she sealed them with plastic wrap and put them in the refrigerator. After cleaning, she had a simple meal of noodles and a poached egg at noon. After eating, she took a small spatula and a plastic bag to the ground at the back door to catch 5 earthworms. Then she took a fishing rod to the park's lake to fish. She guessed that this park should belong to Gu Lingqing. She was the only one in the entire park. He looked around and didn't find anyone from the dark shadow. As she basked in the sun and fished, she picked up her phone and sent an email to the mercenary. Gu Lingqing has the third eye. You must be careful not to be photographed when you work. You can hide in an unmonitored area and contact him by email. After sending it, she deleted the email and looked at the surface of the lake. The buoy was being dragged violently. She immediately pulled out the pole. It was a very big black carp. It was estimated to be more than 20 kilograms. Baya smiled. His luck was pretty good. She spent a lot of effort to get the fish into the bucket. Then she stopped fishing and called Gu Lingqing. Do you know what I'm doing? Baya asked happily. Gu Lingqing noticed that she was in a good mood, so he smiled slightly. I'm fishing. I just caught a black carp. It's very big, Baya said with a smile. It seems that I'm going to have a good meal tonight. I still remember that the black carp you made is very delicious, Gu Lingqing said with a smile. Yeah, I'm going home to make fish now. Do you want to call your friend over? The 2 of us can't finish it. I'll get home at about 17 o'clock. But don't be too tired. Gu Lingqing felt sorry for her. I won't be tired from doing this little housework. I'll wait for you. Baya hung up the phone and reeled in the fishing line. A black shadow appeared behind her. She was shocked. She turned around and was shocked again. The man in front of her had disguised himself as a rock. His face couldn't be seen clearly. The chief asked me to help you carry the bucket, the man said honestly. He scared her. She was a little embarrassed and picked up the bucket. Do you usually hide here? Baya asked tentatively. No, it's a moving rock. I put rocks everywhere, the man explained. Baya laughed. Putting rocks everywhere? Ah, it's so funny. Isn't it very hard? There are many mosquitoes in the summer, right? Baya asked. It's not hard. At least I can lie down, sit, and change various positions. There's a tree over there. Usually I can only stand, he said happily. Tree? There's another one. What's it for? Baya took the opportunity to ask. The man just laughed and didn't answer. Baya saw that he didn't want to answer, so she didn't continue to ask, lest he got suspicious. After a while, they arrived at the door of her house. Come in and sit for a while. Thank you for your hard work. Baya opened the door. It's okay. The man put down the bucket and ran away quickly. It was really a moving rock. She entered the house and went to the kitchen to clean the big black carp. She was very curious. Where would the other one hide and what was he wearing? Soon she cleaned the fish and prepared the fish head. Half an hour later she started to stew the soup. The middle part was marinated and steamed. The other part was braised. After deboning she chopped it into mud. A part was made into fish balls, a part was made into fried fish steak, and the tail part was made into grilled fish. She put cucumber, cabbage root, and some prawns into the grilled fish. Just as she finished grilling the fish, she heard the sound of cars parking outside. It seemed like there was more than one car. She washed her hands and ran to the door. Gu Lingqing came over. Beside him was Zhang Xingyu carrying braised food. One was Lung Tong. She had seen him when she met Xia. She didn't know the other one. He was also a man. Thank you for your hard work, Gu Lingqing said gently. Baya smiled. It's not hard at all. It's to serve the people. Are you guys drinking today? I'm done grilling fish. You guys can eat first. Okay. Gu Lingqing held Baya's hand and entered the house. Zhang Xingyu carried the braised food to the kitchen. Baya let go of Gu Lingqing's hand and looked at Zhang Xingyu. I'll get you a bowl. Thank you, Zhang Xingyu said with an honest smile. You can go eat with them. I'll be fine here. Baya took out the bowl. I'll help you here. Zhang Xingyu said uncomfortably. It's okay. You can't help me much even if you stay here. They need someone to take care of them when they're sitting together. Baya saw through him. Zhang Xingyu scratched his head. You're right. Then I'll take the fish head soup and grilled fish out first. It's too hot and heavy. He carried the fish soup out respectfully. Baya also put the braised food in the bowl and carried it out. The fish was done. She also made shrimp with ingot, cola chicken wings, stir-fried cabbage leaves, and stir-fried chicken cabbage. After everything was done, she sat next to Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing held her hand and looked at her with a gentle gaze. This glass of wine is for sister-in-law. I'm sorry for not being a good host before. Leng Ningqing apologized. It's okay. Baya poured herself a glass of wine. Gu Lingqing snatched her glass and explained, she's preparing for pregnancy. She can't drink for now. I'm sorry. No wonder the chief didn't drink just now. I'll drink this glass. I hope you guys will have children soon. Leng Ningqing drank all the wine in the glass. Chapter 428. Oh. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing in confusion. It's best if it doesn't become a big deal. So we need you to report it directly and let the higher-ups make a decision first, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. If we report it, I'm afraid the person behind the scenes will know too. It'll be harder to find him again, Leng Shuang suggested. At least after everyone knows, Xia will be released and her life won't be in danger. She has been wandering for many years. It's time to prove her innocence. Gu Lingqing made up his mind. But in this way it'll be hard to get rid of the danger to the chief. Leng Shuang was worried. No, after the people above know about it they will investigate it thoroughly. The person behind the scenes is a very cautious person. The more cautious he is, the more careful he is, the less he will act. Maybe the people above can really investigate and find some clues. Gu Lingqing analyzed. What about him? Let him go. Anyway, there's a video. He won't dare to act rashly, Gu Lingqing ordered. Okay. That person took the order. He drank the liquor in one gulp and looked at Baya. Baya felt that his eyes were too sharp as if he wanted to see through her mind. When have you decided to get married? Because of some special circumstances, it's a secret marriage for now. When the wedding banquet is held, we'll definitely invite everyone, Gu Lingqing explained. The relationship between you and your father hasn't eased yet? Leng Shuang asked worriedly. That's his character. There's no such thing as easing or not. More. I caught this fish in the lake. It's very delicious. Gu Lingqing changed the topic. They didn't say anything, afraid that the air would suddenly become quiet. Zhang Xingyu also saw it. He broke the silence with a smile. This fish is so delicious. It's more delicious than any fish I've ever eaten. How did you make it? It's flour mixed with cheese and fried with butter. The fish is the freshest, Baya explained. Did Miss Wu live abroad before? Lung Shuang asked suspiciously. I stayed there for a while, Baya said vaguely. No wonder you like butter cheese. It's high in calories and foreigners like it a lot. Lung Ying took a bite of the fish steak. But it's really delicious. Regardless of the fish steak, this grilled fish is delicious too. Miss Wu, have you learned cooking before? Zhang Xingyu complimented. Oh, maybe it's because the fish is fresher. After Baya answered, nobody spoke again. The atmosphere became cold again. Lung Shuai put down his chopsticks, looked at Gu Lingqing and asked, Chief, when are you going back to the military? Gu Lingqing also put down his chopsticks. I'm still talking to Xianxia about this matter. Once there's a decision, I'll let you know immediately. I heard a rumor that Xianxia is keeping a mistress outside. This matter will affect the next presidential election. If you return to the military region, you should be able to become the president. After all, you were a popular candidate in the past. Coupled with the power of the Gu family, if you operate well these 2 years, you will definitely become the president. Lung Shuai said painstakingly. An idea flashed in Baya's mind. Gu Lingqing, I've been thinking why someone wants to harm you. Why not earlier or later, but recently? Could it be related to the possibility of you becoming the president? Gu Lingqing looked at Baya and his eyes darkened. Well, it seems to make sense. As soon as something happened to Xianxia, someone started to deal with President Gu. Zhang Xingyu agreed with Baya's words. They don't want you to be the president because you're a threat to those who can be the president. They need to get rid of you as soon as possible. Xianxia is one, Su Zheng is another. Who else is the popular candidate in the last election? Baya asked Gu Lingqing. Xianxia, Su Zheng, Lin Shadong, Zuochuani and Xing Dongqing. It should be these 5, Lung Shuai said with familiarity. Think about it. Should we start with these 5? Baya suggested. Cheng Qian, have someone pay close attention to these 5 people. Yes, sir. Cheng Qian stood up and saluted, full of passion. Baya looked down, hoping that they were heading in the right direction this time. I'm thinking if that person treats Gu Lingqing as an imaginary enemy, he should treat the others as his imaginary enemies too. Pay close attention and report immediately if there's any problem, Gu Lingqing ordered. Yes. I'll get someone to do it now. Cheng Qian went out. What do I need to do on my side? Lung Shuai asked. Cheng Qian, help me with this. I'll leave the reporting to you, Gu Lingqing ordered. Yes. Lung Shuai also saluted respectfully like Cheng Qian. Baya really had the illusion of when Gu Lingqing was still in the military. He was upright and plain-spoken, powerful and bright and just. In her heart he was the most qualified soldier. The corner of her mouth curled up slightly. After the meal, Gu Lingqing helped to wash the dishes. Your dinner is delicious. My brothers like it very much too, Gu Lingqing complimented. You can ask them to come over often. 3 heads are better than 1. If they discuss things together, they'll be more quick-witted. Anyway, I have time to cook, Baya said softly. Gu Lingqing smiled, and the way he looked at her was especially sentimental. I finally know why I like you. What? Baya blurted out. Because you make me feel happy, Gu Lingqing said. Baya pursed her lips and smiled. Washing the dishes was originally boring, but with him by her side, everyone felt warm. After washing the dishes, she fed the dog and was carried into the room by Gu Lingqing. The 2 of them fell on the bed together. The doctor said that this is your ovulation period, right? Gu Lingqing asked as he hugged her waist tightly. Baya blushed. Yes. Got it. He turned over. Baya pressed against his chest. Let's take a shower first. My body is full of the smell of food. He took a deep breath. The feeling of home. Baya was amused by him. You should marry a cook. Don't talk nonsense, Gu Lingqing said seriously. Baya pursed her lips and looked at him with a smile. He looked at her sweet face and also stopped being serious. You deserve to be punished. As soon as he said that, he kissed her lips, and it was another night of extreme entanglement. The next day when Baya woke up, the sky was already very bright. Gu Lingqing was not by her side. She looked at the time. It was 9:30. There was a note written on the bedside table. The handwriting was smooth and smooth. With one look, she knew that it was written by Gu Lingqing. She picked up the note. On it was written, Today I made century egg and lean meat porridge and put it in the rice cooker to heat it up. When you wake up, the dough sticks will probably be cold. Heat up the soybean milk and put it in the soybean milk to eat. Baya smiled and lay on the bed again. This feeling was so blissful. Her phone rang. She picked it up and looked at it. The mercenary had sent an email. It was a simple sentence. Done. Wait for the next step. Chapter 429. She got up, brushed her teeth, washed up, and went out to eat the breakfast prepared by Gu Lingqing. After putting a recording pen in her bag, she called Zhou Hailan. Zhou Hailan's phone rang 5 times before it was picked up. He had a cold, coughed, and asked, "Hello, who is this?" "Amunyan. Are you free at noon?" "I want to ask you out for tea," Baya said simply. "Miss Wu." Zhou Hailan was very surprised. "I don't think there's anything to talk to Miss Wu. Why did you call me all of a sudden?" Ahem. Zhou Hailan coughed again. "There's something important I want to talk to Miss Zhou about." "Tell me the place and I'll be there now," Baya said. Zhou Hailan was silent for 3 seconds. "I've caught a cold recently, and it's not convenient for me to meet you." "It doesn't matter. I can go to your house. Just give me 10 minutes. It's about Mr. Gu." "I think you'd like to hear it," Baya said strongly. "Okay, come to the cafe on Boai Road." "I'll be there in about an hour," Zhou Hailan said. "See you there." Baya hung up the phone. She went out and drove to the market. She bought freshly slaughtered chicken, tea tree mushrooms, Artemisia selingensis and lentils and walked into the pharmacy. "Beauty, what do you need?" "I can help you," the shop assistant said enthusiastically. "I'm just looking around." Baya walked in, glanced at the medicine on the cabinet, took out 4 pregnancy test papers and handed them to the cashier. A total of 12 yuan. Baya put a white bottle into her bag, took out her wallet from her bag and paid the cashier. She went out and drove. She didn't go to the cafe on Boai Road but back. She looked at the rearview mirror. At this time, the people from the shadows should be following her. She sped up and made a turn. She looked at the rearview mirror again. Sure enough, a silver Porsche also sped up, made a turn and followed behind her. The driver was still wearing a black cap so she couldn't see his face clearly. She slowed down and so did the silver-gray Porsche. She pursed her lips and glanced at the time in the car. After a while his phone rang. It was Zhou Hailan. Baya picked up the call without any surprise. "Miss Wu, where are you?" "An hour has passed," Zhou Hailan said unhappily. "I'm on the way. Something happened." "Wait for me," Baya said in a deep voice. He turned around and drove towards the cafe on Fraternity Street. Just as she was about to reach the cafe, her phone rang. She saw that it was a call from Gu Lingqing and answered. "Have you eaten?" Gu Lingqing asked. "Not yet. I received a call from Zhou Hailan. She asked me to meet her at the cafe. I'm going there now. I saw the people from the shadows." "It's that silver-gray Porsche, right?" Baya asked with a smile. Gu Lingqing didn't answer her. She asked in surprise, "She asked you to meet her at the cafe?" "Maybe it's because I called her before." "Why did you call her?" Gu Lingqing was nervous. "I thought about it. Since Zhou Hailan is a breakthrough, I can start by befriending her. Maybe I'll get something good out of it." "Stop fooling around. She won't be friends with you. She's very guarded against you. You can't get close to her. Didn't I say before that I'll handle it?" Gu Lingqing said helplessly. "I'll give it a try. It's hard to say. Don't worry, your people are around me. I'll be fine. I'll hang up first." Baya hung up the phone. She looked sharply at the cafe and stopped the car. She got out of the car and went into the cafe. She called Zhou Hailan. "I'm here. Where are you?" "I'm in the private room, room 203. "Get the waiter to bring me there," Zhou Hailan said while holding back her anger. Baya looked at the waiter. "Please bring me to room 203. "Okay. This way." The waiter enthusiastically led the way to the entrance of room 203. Baya pushed the door open and entered. Zhou Hailan saw Baya. She frowned and said in surprise, "You've lost a lot of weight." "I purposely went on a diet. I was too fat before," Baya replied. She glanced at the table. Zhou Hailan was drinking chrysanthemum tea. "I didn't expect you to be so beautiful after losing weight. Why are you looking for me about Lingqing?" Zhou Hailan went straight to the point. Baya sat opposite her. "Gu Lingqing has 2 sons. I heard that you're taking care of one of them. The other one has already gone overseas?" "I'm curious too. Didn't I ask you to be a home tutor? I saw that Lingqing likes you. Why did you suddenly stop?" Zhou Hailan asked curiously. Baya picked up the chrysanthemum teapot and poured water for Zhou Hailan. "Because of some special reasons I went to Country X. So, this matter has been temporarily put on hold." "Country X? That's pretty good. However, what do you want to tell me about Gu Lingqing?" Zhou Hailan urged. To be exact, this matter is about you. Baya picked up the teacup and passed it to Zhou Hailan. About me? Zhou Hailan looked at Baya suspiciously. She did not take the teacup from Baya and said defensively, "What are you trying to do? I hope that Miss Wu will be straightforward. I don't have that much time to waste with you." Baya put down the teacup and smiled. Miss Zhou should be an abandoned chess piece now. What? Zhou Hailan stood up in shock and raised her voice. What are you talking about? What abandoned chess piece? Ridiculous. She walked out of the door angrily. You've done so many things for that person. In the end, you're sick and alone. You'll die alone in the future. I really don't know why you're doing this, Baya said slowly and poured the white medicine into her teacup. Zhou Hailan stopped and turned around. Miss Wu, did you get the wrong person? What are you talking about? I don't understand. Your last mission was a scam. You knew it from the start. Why did you willingly destroy your face? Women should look good to please themselves. You should love beauty. Baya glanced at Zhou Hailan. Zhou Hailan widened her eyes and looked at Baya. Baya smiled and glanced at the seat opposite her. Do you want to hear the condition I'm giving you? Zhou Hailan hesitated and sat opposite Baya. What do you want to say? Work with me. I'll let you and your child go far away and no longer be restricted by anyone, Baya suggested. What do you want me to work with you for? Tell me what he asked you to do. Baya looked at Zhou Hailan. I've always been free. This condition of yours is not attractive to me. Chapter 430. Zhou Hailan's face turned pale. What do you mean by that? Zhou Hailan, think about it. What do you have now? Reputation? Status? Or do you think you can still get close to Gu Lingqing? Let me tell you, it's impossible. Gu Lingqing has already married me. I won't let you have the chance to get close to me even if I die, Baya said coldly. She stood up straight and looked down at her. Zhou Hailan looked at her in shock. That's impossible. Gu Lingqing only loves Baya. He won't marry anyone else. Don't you think I have the same voice as Baya? You're more ruthless than her. She won't do such a thing. Why would Gu Lingqing marry such a ruthless woman like you? Zhou Hailan said anxiously. I'm nothing compared to your ruthlessness. Back then, during that mission, Gu Lingqing brought so many people with him and they were all killed by you. Those people were your brothers. Of course, you're so ruthless to yourself. You can even ruin your beauty, let alone others. I don't know why people like you are still alive, Zhou Hailan said coldly. That's because they deserve to die. Wunyan, don't talk nonsense if you don't know anything. If they don't die, more people will die, Zhou Hailan said impulsively. Don't you think it's funny that more people will die if you don't die? Many illegal organizations also think of themselves as saviors and kill more people. So, you're destined to live alone until you die, Baya said coldly. Zhou Hailan smashed the glass and picked up the shard. He quickly pressed the shard against Gu Lingqing's neck and said with hatred, Believe it or not, I will kill you. Baya looked at Zhou Hailan fearlessly and said, Of course I do. You've already killed so many people anyway, I won't make a difference. However, if I die, you and Gu Ruoxing can forget about living. Gu Lingqing's dark shadow has always been protecting me. You should know that. Wunyan, what exactly do you want? Zhou Hailan asked while gnashing his teeth. Baya looked at her deeply. Tell me the truth about that mission. You won't let me go. Zhou Hailan was worried. I can make you disappear from the face of the earth and live a good life with xianxia. With your EQ and looks, you will find a man who loves you, Baya advised. Zhou Hailan looked at her. How can you make me disappear from the face of the earth? I think you should have heard about Xianxia having a lover. I made his lover disappear from the face of the earth. Do you think I don't have the ability to do that? Baya asked. I just don't believe you. Also, who exactly are you? Are you working for Xianxia? Zhou Hailan looked at her and asked. You don't need to know who I am. If you want to be reborn, only I can help you. Baya looked at Zhou Hailan with a burning gaze. Zhou Hailan looked down and put her hand down. The shard fell to the ground. I need to think about it. I can't answer you for now. You have 24 hours to think about it. Don't do anything that you will regret. Otherwise, you won't be able to bear the consequences. Baya said coldly. She walked towards the door and got into the car. She took out the voice recorder from her bag and switched it off. She had drugged the teacup. If Zhou Hailan drank it, she should be able to hypnotize Zhou Hailan and maybe get some information out of him. Unfortunately, Zhou Hailan was too cautious. She stewed the freshly slaughtered chicken and put in the tea tree mushrooms. Then she used the chicken soup noodles. After eating the chicken soup noodles, she took a leisurely nap. When she woke up, she went to dig for earthworms at the back door and went fishing at the lake. Time passed. She looked at her watch. It was almost 17 p.m. She had caught 6 or 7 small carps. Xuanhuan had not replied to her message. It would be a lie to say that she was not anxious. However, even if she was anxious, there was nothing she could do. The choice was in Xuanhuan's hands. She said that if they didn't die, more people would die. She kept thinking about what she meant. It was too profound and she could not understand it. From afar, she saw Gu Lingqing's car coming. She reeled in the fishing line. The tea tree mushroom chicken soup was ready for dinner. It was already ready. She just needed to heat it up. She would stir-fry some lentils and Artemisia selengensis. Soon, the small carps would be cooked tomorrow. The car stopped in front of her. Gu Lingqing pushed the door open and got out. Baiya saw Xuanhuan sitting in the front passenger seat and also pushed the door open. She had a rough idea of what was going on. "Xiaoyan, you caught xianxia to threaten Xuanhuan?" Gu Lingqing asked directly. He was very surprised and could not believe it. Baiya stared at Gu Lingqing. If Gu Lingqing knew that she had caught xianxia, he would definitely ask her to let xianxia go because he was ashamed of such behavior. It seemed that Xuanhuan had chosen to be her enemy. "No," Baiya replied coldly. "You're lying." Xuanhuan walked in front of Baiya agitatedly. "You said you caught xianxia. Why would I catch xianxia? Xuanhuan, did you ask me out today just to frame me?" Baiya asked calmly. "What do you mean I asked you out? You asked me out. You said you caught xianxia. Xianxia really couldn't be caught. Who else could it be other than you?" Xuanhuan pushed Baiya. Baiya took a step back. Gu Lingqing held her waist and protected her behind him. He said to Xuanhuan coldly, "Speak properly. I believe her." "Gu Lingqing, she is Xianyan's person. Xianyan found a person who has the same pronunciation as Baiya and put her beside you. If you believe her, you won't even know how you die in the future." Xuanhuan said anxiously. "That's my business. I will find xianxia. You can go back now." Gu Lingqing asked him to leave. "Since she framed me, then xianxia must be hidden by herself," Baiya said coldly. "Utter nonsense. Wunyan, you'll be struck by lightning if you continue like this." "You haven't even been struck by lightning. It's not my turn. Look, Lingqing. Listen." She admitted it. Xuanhuan held Gu Lingqing's arm. Baiya looked at Gu Lingqing. "I didn't admit it. I don't think I'm wrong. Of course xianxia is your son. You should do what you should do. I'll go back to cook." She picked up the bucket and walked into the kitchen. She was going to kill the fish. She was going to eat them tomorrow. She killed them one by one. Behind her, Gu Lingqing's aura approached. She was washing the fish. "Xiaoya, did you hide xianxia?" Gu Lingqing asked again. Baiya looked at Gu Lingqing. "You believe her?" "She has no reason to frame you," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Chapter 431. I've checked the sky. The person who kidnapped xianxia was very cautious. He wore a cap so we couldn't get a picture of his face. The van they took was a fake license plate and disappeared in a section without surveillance. It's not easy to find him. Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. "Gu Lingqing, it's actually very simple. You're too worried. If I kidnapped xianxia, I would never hurt xianxia. If it was Xuanhuan who kidnapped xianxia, she wouldn't hurt her son either. In this case, xianxia must be safe," Baiya analyzed. "Fill the pot and pour oil into it." Gu Lingqing remained silent and did not speak. Baiya poured the fish into the pot. Before the water was drained, it made a sizzling sound, and some oil splashed on the back of her hand. Gu Lingqing covered the pot and turned down the fire. He took her hand to the sink and turned on the tap. "Are you angry that I don't trust you?" When Baiya saw Gu Lingqing's concern, heartache and guilt, her heart ached. He was right not to trust her because she was the one who had captured xianxia. She was just wasting her trust with him. But it didn't matter as long as he was safe. "A little," Baiya said simply. Not wanting him to notice too much, he pulled out his hand and opened the lid of the pot. Gu Lingqing grabbed the shovel and stood in front of Baiya. "Be careful not to splash oil again. Let me do it." Baiya stood aside and said in a low voice, "Don't worry, xianxia will be fine." "Well, how are you going to cook the fish?" Gu Lingqing asked. "There's chicken soup tonight. Let's braise it. Let me do it." Baiya picked up the bottle of cooking wine and poured the wine into it. The boiling situation in the pot immediately calmed down. Gu Lingqing returned the shovel to Baiya. She flipped through it. She was thinking about something just now and forgot to add garlic and ginger. She added them again, added soy sauce, soup, and covered the pot. Her phone rang. It was Xuanhuan. She hung up. Gu Lingqing hadn't left yet. He said in a low voice, "Take it." As soon as he finished speaking, Zhou Heilan's phone rang again. Baiya picked up the call and turned on the speaker. "Wunyan, what exactly do you want?" Zhou Heilan asked anxiously. "What do you want?" Baiya asked. "Xianxian is still young. Come at me if you can. Don't hurt the innocent. I promise you that I will never appear in front of Gu Lingqing, and I will not let Xianxian steal Gu Lingqing. Are you satisfied now? First of all, I don't care whether you appear in front of Gu Lingqing or not. You have no power over me at all. It's up to you. Secondly, Xianxian is Gu Lingqing's son. This can't be changed. It has nothing to do with stealing. Blood melts with water. Do you understand? Besides, Gu Lingqing doesn't believe you. So, don't waste your efforts. We have a good relationship. You can't sow discord between us. If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up." Baiya said coldly. She hung up the phone. She put the phone on the bar. "I suspect that she said that on purpose because she knew you were there. What do you think? If I kidnapped Xianxian, my purpose wouldn't be to let her go. What I want is for her to confess. You know what I mean?" "I know. I'm sorry that you have been wronged," Gu Lingqing said apologetically. Baiya's eyes darkened. The more he trusted her, the more guilty she felt. "I'll cook. You can go out. I don't feel comfortable with you here. I'll be able to eat in half an hour." "Oh, okay." Gu Lingqing turned around and left. Baiya put the rice into the rice cooker. She cut the lentils and shredded meat. She opened another pot and stir-fried the shredded meat and lentils. Zhou Heilan called again. She thought it was about time. She picked up the call and pressed the record button. "Wunyan, let me tell you. Don't think that I'll be controlled by you just because you kidnapped Xianxian. I won't. Even if I die, I won't tell you the truth. I don't care about Xianxian anyway. At most, I'll have another child," Zhou Heilan said fiercely. Baiya fell silent. She felt sorry for Xianxian. Xianxian's love for Zhou Heilan was real. It was a form of favoritism. If anyone hurt Zhou Heilan, he would risk his life. If Xianxian knew that Zhou Heilan would treat him like that, he would probably be bitterly disappointed. Everyone has a choice. Their choice determines the outcome. Although I don't know why you're framing me, I just hope that you don't get caught in a trap of your own making. Baiya hung up. Her phone rang again. It was Zhou Heilan again. Baiya picked up. "What do you mean?" Zhou Heilan was furious. Baiya chuckled. "From now on I'll block you. Don't call me again." With that said, she hung up and blocked Zhou Heilan. She continued cooking. Half an hour later, the dishes were ready and served on the dining table. Gu Lingqing frowned and ordered, "Continue to investigate. Do a carpet search. I don't believe that someone can fly into the sky. Even if he does, I'll be able to catch him." Baiya sat down opposite him and started eating. Gu Lingqing looked at Baiya with a dark expression. "Xiaoya, I know that you want to find out who's behind this. But if I have to sacrifice others to protect myself, I'm not willing to do so." Baiya replied and continued eating with her head lowered. Gu Lingqing frowned slightly. He did not say anything else and continued eating with his head lowered. The atmosphere was unusually strange because of the silence. Even the dog felt it and barked twice. Baiya looked at Gu Lingqing. "Give me your phone." Gu Lingqing did not hesitate and passed the phone to her. Baiya looked through his contacts and found Leng Shuai. After noting down Leng Shuai's number, she continued to look for Zhou Heilan's number and blocked Zhou Heilan's number. Gu Lingqing's frown deepened. Baiya looked at his furrowed brows and felt her heart ache. "Your people are following Zhou Heilan, so you know her movements like the back of your hand. I've blocked her number, but it won't affect you taking care of her. Of course, if you feel that it's necessary to keep her number, you can remove her from the blacklist. I didn't delete her number. Also, you should know her identity. It's not safe for you to bring her here. I'll leave after dinner. If your people want to follow me, they can follow me. It doesn't matter if they don't. You don't have to make such a big fuss over this." Gu Lingqing did not hide his pain. At the same time, he felt annoyed. "I don't want things to get worse. I think we need to calm down for a while. You know where to find me. Also..." Baiya paused and looked at him deeply. "Maybe you haven't even realized it, but your care and trust for Zhou Heilan is beyond your imagination. So when you saw her call me, you started to suspect me again. I think this is one of the main reasons why Xiaohi has been wronged for so many years." Baiya put down his chopsticks and stood up. "I'm full. You can eat slowly." Chapter 432. Baiya's heart ached. Gu Lingqing wasn't wrong at all. She was the one who was wrong. She was the one who kidnapped Xianxian. She couldn't blame him for not trusting her. Her eyes turned red, but she quickly controlled her emotions and looked at him. It's okay, I'm the one who's in a bad mood. You're right. Since I brought xuanhuan here, I'm afraid this place isn't safe anymore. I was in a hurry and didn't think too much. I'll find a place to move tomorrow. It's okay, I really want to calm down for a few days. Baya rejected him. She really had something to do. It would be more convenient if she left this place. She knew where Gu Lingqing wouldn't be able to find her. What about after you calm down? Do you want to separate? We've been through so much. Is there anything we can't get through? Between Xiahe and xuanhuan, I might trust xuanhuan more. But between xuanhuan and you, I definitely trust you. I don't agree to separate. I won't disturb you when you're here and you can calm down, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. His heart ached at the thought of separating. It was as though there was a hole in his heart. Countless streams of acid flowed out and into his blood. Baya lowered her eyes. Her face was so pale that there was no color at all. Her rationality and her heart were fighting. In the end, her rationality lost to her heart. She nodded and walked to Gu Lingqing's side. She hugged him and closed her eyes as tears flowed down her cheeks. One day he would understand that he had married a weak woman. She was so weak that she couldn't live without him. It's some more. You haven't eaten much, Gu Lingqing said gently and looked at her. Baya couldn't hold back her tears. You found out. Gu Lingqing looked at her with heartache. There won't be anything between xuanhuan and I. I swear that if I find out that xuanhuan is doing something hostile, I will send her to court. Xianxia is my child and I'm just responsible for him. Baya sniffled and sat down on his seat. She wiped her tears. Gu Lingqing moved her bowl and chopsticks in front of her, sat down next to her and smiled slightly. Are you still jealous of me? Baya didn't say anything. She picked up some meat from the fish and put it into Gu Lingqing's bowl. Gu Lingqing knew that Baya was shy, so he didn't pursue the matter. He lowered his head and placed the fish's belly meat back into Baya's bowl. You eat. After eating, the two of them walked along the lake. Gu Lingqing held her hand. No one spoke. Baya was lost in her own thoughts. After eating, the two of them walked along the lake. Gu Lingqing held her hand. No one spoke. Baya was lost in her own thoughts. I won't be back for dinner tomorrow. I need to go back. Gu Lingqing broke the silence. Baya vaguely remembered that Ling Ning mentioned that Gu Lingqing's father was not in good health yesterday. Do you want to go with me? Gu Lingqing asked gently. Baya shook her head. Not for now. With the current situation, it's better to avoid trouble. I'll be back before midnight. In the afternoon, Zhang Xingyu will bring you to the new place. Call me if you need anything. Gu Lingqing reminded her. Baya nodded. Gu Lingqing's phone rang. He saw that it was Ling Ning and picked up the call. Chief, bad news. There's an order from above. They want to interrogate Xiahe immediately. I haven't officially reported it yet, Ling Ning said anxiously. Above? Which above? It was sent by the military committee. Xiahe will definitely say that the mission is fake in court. If she says it first and I say it later, I will become an accomplice and a shield. If I say it first, I will be able to save her life. What should I do? Tell Xiahe not to say it for now, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. I'm more worried that Xiahe will be executed before she goes to court. Or if she doesn't say it after she goes to court, she won't have a chance to say it. We have to ensure her safety. Stall for an hour. I'll look for her. Gu Lingqing hung up and immediately made a call. Xuanhuan, I have something to discuss with you. It's very urgent. It's about Xiahe. I know that. It's me, the disciplinary committee, and the related people from other departments who received an anonymous letter saying that Ling Ning is covering up and keeping it a secret. They collectively requested for an immediate interrogation. That's why I sent the notice. I'm afraid that the disciplinary committee will look for Ling Ning later, Xuanhuan replied. There's another secret in this matter. The original mission was fake. Xiahe can't be a spy. I participated in that mission, so I'm investigating why it's fake and who's the mastermind behind it. Even if it's fake, so many people died. It's the highest number of deaths so far in this kind of secret operation. We can't rule out the possibility that Xiahe is the murderer. At that time, only you, Xiahe, and xuanhuan survived. Other than her, could it be the disfigured xuanhuan? Or you? Gu Lingqing, those who want to achieve great things will always have to sacrifice. But this is equivalent to burying the original truth. I've already looked for the vice president of S country. He admitted that the person I saved back then was not him. Then who do you think is the mastermind? Your direct leader, General Kai Qingyun, is already dead. Are you going to push all the blame to Kai Qingyun? Even if you push the blame to Kai Qingyun, Xiaohe can't get rid of the suspicion. You'll even get into trouble. Besides, there's no reasonable explanation for the purpose of General Kai Qingyun doing this. Gu Lingqing, sometimes the result is more important than the truth. Only by sacrificing yourself can you achieve the greater good, Xianxia advised. So, according to you, it doesn't matter if the mission is fake or if Xiaohe is the murderer. She's definitely going to become a spy, right? Gu Lingqing said coldly. This is for the sake of the overall situation, and it can also prevent the relationship between our country and S country from being affected. Xiaohe sacrificed for the country and died a worthy death. F***ck your sacrifice for the country. If the background of a country is dirty, this country will not be far from destruction. Xianxia, you and I are different. You can betray the person you love most for your responsibility, but I can't. Gu Lingqing was so angry that he swore and hung up the phone. Baya heard it all and her eyes darkened. Xiaoya, I'm going out. Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya understood Gu Lingqing. He was responsible for a stranger, let alone a brother who had gone through fire and water with him. Go and do what you think is right. I fully support you. Chapter 433. Okay, go ahead, Ling Ning said in a low voice and walked into his office. You want Gu Lingqing to be the president, right? Baya asked. Of course, I believe that the chief can do better than Xianxia. This has always been my wish. Only by following the chief can I be motivated and serve the country better, Ling Ning said passionately. I'll send you a recording later. This recording can prove that the mission is fake and the culprit is Zhou Hailan. Gu Lingqing won't be involved. Also, I kidnapped xianxia to force Zhou Hailan to reveal the culprit. I promise I won't hurt xianxia. However, Zhou Hailan didn't care about xianxia's safety and told Gu Lingqing about it. According to my understanding of Gu Lingqing, he wouldn't want to use this method to get information about the culprit. Now, once Zhou Hailan's recording is exposed, Zhou Hailan will be in danger. He might be killed by the culprit, but it's also a chance to find out who the culprit is. So, you have to plan it carefully. Lastly, if xianxia goes back to Zhou Hailan now, it'll be dangerous. After everything is settled, I'll let xianxia go back to Gu Lingqing safely. So, you can go easy on the mission to find xianxia, Baya said. Ling Ning paused. You're helping us? Gu Lingqing is my husband. What do you think? Or do you think I'm harming you? Baya asked coldly. I understand. I know what to do. Don't worry, please give me the recording, Ling Ning said. Baya hung up and turned on the recording. Zhou Hailan's voice came from inside. That's because they deserve to die. Wu Nian, don't spout nonsense if you don't know anything. If they don't die, more people will die. What do you mean by more people will die? Don't you think your words are hilarious? Many illegal organizations also see themselves as saviors and kill even more people. Therefore, you are destined to grow old alone and live a life worse than death. Believe it or not, I will kill you. Of course I do. You've already killed so many people anyway, I won't make a difference. However, if I die, you Gu Ruoxin don't even think about living. Gu Lingqing's shadow has been protecting me. You should know that. Wu Nian, what exactly do you want? Tell me the truth about that mission. You won't let me go. That was all she had cut out and sent it to the cold market. Lying on the bed, she placed her hands naturally on her abdomen. Soon, everyone would know that she was the one who got the recording. The people behind the scenes would probably not let her go either. But it didn't matter. She just hoped that the people behind the scenes would be able to find traces of them, so that all her hard work would not be in vain. Lying on the bed, she tossed and turned, unable to fall asleep. Gu Lingqing had not returned yet. She got up and turned on the television. She watched some soap operas, but she could not get into it. The more she watched, the more uneasy she felt. Looking at the time, it was already 1 in the morning. Zhang Xingyu called and she picked it up immediately. Miss Wu, something has happened, Zhang Xingyu said anxiously. Hearing that something had happened, Baya's heart skipped a beat. She stood up from the bed. What's wrong? In court, the recording of you was released and it caused a huge uproar. Now they are divided into 2 groups. One group believes that the mission is fake and the other group thinks that it's fabricated. Fabricated? The recording can be verified. I didn't put it together. Baya frowned. The verification has been done, but many people think that there are loopholes in the language. They are debating. The president is helping us, so we should be able to win, but Chief Lung and President Gu are both trapped now. Chief Lung is worried that those people will kill them, so he can't mobilize his men. Chief Gu can't mobilize the shadows, Zhang Xingyu explained. Can't you mobilize them? I only know the people in my team. Moreover, everyone in my team has a mission. I'm afraid I can't, Zhang Xingyu said apologetically. We don't have time to think about it now. If we don't know who killed Zhou Hailan, or if Zhou Hailan is killed, it will be even more difficult to find the people behind the scenes. Mobilize the people who are protecting me to protect Zhou Hailan, Baiya said anxiously. If something happens to you, it will be harder for me to explain to President Gu. Zhang Xingyu didn't dare to. Who is more important in your heart, me or President Gu? Moreover, I have no grudges with them. How could something happen to me? Move Zhou Hailan to a safe place first, Baiya ordered. Okay. Send me Zhou Hailan's address. Baiya hung up the phone. After receiving the address from Zhang Xingyu, she sent it to the mercenaries and Zhou Hailan's photo. She called them and ordered, "Go to this address and protect this woman. Move her to a safe place. It's best if you can catch the person who wants to kill her." How do we calculate the fees? This isn't a mission anymore, right? The mercenaries asked. You are top-notch mercenaries and will have many collaborations in the future. How about 1 million per mission? Baiya asked. There are 5 of us. Isn't 200,000 per mission a little too low? 2 million per mission. Just now, I mentioned moving Zhou Hailan safely and catching the person who wants to kill her. These 2 missions cost 4 million. We can earn 4 million in 1 or 2 hours. It's not a low price. Moreover, there will be more collaborations in the future, right? Baiya negotiated. She didn't have that much money on hand. She couldn't ask Alan for more money. Okay, remember to pay tomorrow. The mercenaries hung up the phone and set off. Baiya was worried. She drove to Zhou Hailan's house and stopped in front of her house. Zhou Hailan's house was in the downtown area. The person behind the scenes wouldn't bring a bunch of people with guns to her house. After waiting for about half an hour, she heard banging sounds. She didn't have time to think and ran to Zhou Hailan's house. The door was opened and Zhou Hailan rushed out. When he saw Baiya, his sharp eyes swept to the right. Baiya saw a masked man on the right. He was holding a gun and aiming at Zhou Hailan. If Zhou Hailan died, the clues would be broken. She couldn't let Zhou Hailan die. She stood in front of Zhou Hailan. The person who fired the gun paused. Zhou Hailan also paused for a while and returned to her room. Baiya looked at the person who fired the gun in surprise. Why didn't he shoot? Didn't he want to hurt the innocent? No, she wasn't innocent at all. She was the one who exposed the incident. The person behind the scenes should hate her to the core. The person with the gun dashed into the corridor. Baiya didn't have time to think. Zhou Hailan's comfort was more important.